Hey everybody, Bruce here with Traveling with Bruce. Just got a news update here that I just found out about. It's March 28th, 2020, and it's about the Oasis of the Seas. Don't let this video fool you. That is the Symphony of the Seas from Royal Caribbean in the waters. But the Oasis of the Seas, making breaking news. We have staff members on board the ship right now testing positive for that virus. Thanks for subscribing to my channel, everybody, and giving my videos thumbs ups. Appreciate it. Love to get your comments. If any of you hear news out there you think I should know about, please let me know. Also, thanks for joining my Facebook group page, Traveling with Bruce. We hang out there between these videos. And also, thanks for joining us on our Instagram page. Jennifer is handling that one. Folks, here's the latest news that's just coming across the wire. The Oasis of the Seas, along with a bunch of other ships, of course, are right now out of business. Close to 400 cruise ships around the world are not sailing. There are maybe 6 or 8 left with passengers that are desperately trying to get their passengers off their ships. But the Oasis of the Seas and Royal Caribbean, for the last now 3 weeks, have not been sailing, and they just announced another 1-month delay before they're coming back. So there won't be any cruises for passengers until at least May the 12th to 15th or so, and even then we're not sure what's going to happen. But in the meantime, Royal Caribbean, like other cruise lines, have been cutting costs because, of course, there is no money coming in the front door here, and they have been anchoring their ships in various locations around the world, either in certain harbors or just offshore where they just anchor them in the sea. Now, at first, the thought was that the shutdown might only last a month or so, and so they kept the ships relatively fully staffed, figuring that as soon as they got the green light to start sailing again, they could just turn the ships around, head to the nearest port, start picking up passengers from the itineraries that they had been advertising for the last 2 years. Now it's become apparent that's unlikely to happen in the very near future. So if you're taking a look at this image here, you'll notice that the cruise ships, there are a ton of them just off the coast of Florida. You'll see Miami there on the and Fort Lauderdale to the left, and you'll notice West Palm Beach there, and then you'll see Freeport, and all those dots and little triangles, those are cruise ships. And all the cruise lines are sitting out here, and they've started to reduce their staff on board. I know that Royal Caribbean has definitely been getting staff off these ships bit by bit, especially as their contracts are nearing completion, and the high-paid staff that are not needed right now to just sit there are being basically returned home. This shot here, a little closer in, you'll note here, you'll begin to see a whole cluster of ships sitting together, including the Scarlet Lady from Virgin Voyages. You'll see Emerald Princess, Navigator of the Seas, Norwegian Bliss. All of the favorites of cruise passengers are all here. Now, where you notice on the bottom right, you'll notice a couple of yellow dots there, and I'm going to zoom in on that area. That's right near Great Stirrup Cay. And this is the area where I believe the Perfect Day Coco Cay is kind of located. It's in this general vicinity. Royal Caribbean have anchored a bunch of their cruise ships here. You'll notice here one after the other right now. There's the couple of Hall America ships, Anthem of the Seas, Oasis of the Seas, Celebrity Reflection, Mariner of the Seas, Grandeur of the Seas. Now, the Oasis of the Seas normally has 2,200 crew on board. I'm hearing right now 1,650 are on the ship. And today we've heard that 14 of the crew members have tested positive for COVID-19. So they've got the virus in the crew. The problem has been, or the issue is, that as they've been offloading crew, and in the last week or so, the crew work their shifts. A lot of them are doing a lot of cleaning and that type of work. Some in the casino department are training and that kind of thing, but they have been allowed to move freely about the ship amongst each other. And at dinner time, they can either eat in the crew quarters or they can eat at some of the specialty restaurants. From time to time, various days on a rotation basis, certain of the specialty restaurants are open for dining. and the crew have been enjoying the ship's amenities. They've also been allowed to sunbathe on the pool decks, go for walks around the ship. I mean, they've been allowed to go everywhere. And here's the issue: 1,650 of them now. Upwards of 2,200 of them were on this ship up until only a week and a half ago. And now we have a double or triple problem. The first problem, 14 people on board the ship are ill. Number two, how many more on the ship are going to get ill? And number three, how many of the crew that have already left the ship and have been taken home? They've all taken airplane rides. They've all returned to their families. How many of them have the virus and they don't know it and have now been spreading that to relatives and friends that they haven't seen in months and months and months? Because remember, these folks work on contracts that last from 4 months, 6 months, 7 months, 9 months, and they don't see their family but for maybe once or twice a year. And this is the billion-dollar question that I have, is how many of these folks have been doing this? The next thing I'm going to mention now is if this is happening on the Oasis of the Seas, do you think maybe the odds are that all the other cruise ships that are sitting off the coast of Florida, which have to be now 100 of these cruise ships, that have maybe an average of 1,000 crew members each, are we talking about 100,000 crew members off the coast of Florida that could have been exposed to the virus in the last week or two or three, not known it, and are now potentially going to test positive and show symptoms? This is a nightmare. The other issue, of course, is how many of the other ships off the coast of Florida and around the world, frankly, have been disembarking crew members and ending their contracts early and sending them home, not knowing that a bunch of these folks could be spreading the virus globally amongst their family and friends. This is really something to worry about. The only bit of comforting news I'm going to give you, and this isn't all that comforting, but I'm going to say it, crew members on cruise ships are generally younger. These are folks that are in their 20s and 30s and 40s. There are very few crew members that are older than 50 because the amount of physical labor that's required to work these shifts, 7 days on, 14 hours a day, require young people with a lot of stamina, and they have to be in darn good shape. So the hope is that anyone who is suffering or has these symptoms, they're mild, and that they'll be able to defeat them relatively quickly. The problem, of course, is for those crew members who've now returned home to see their parents or grandparents or aunts and uncles who are older, could be, without knowing it, passing on the virus to people who cannot defeat it if they get infected. So, folks, I don't like bringing this kind of story to you, but it's fact and it's happening, and it's the latest news that I've come up with just in the last couple of hours. We'll stay on top of this. We'll watch this closely. I do not know what Royal Caribbean is going to do going forward. All I know is that as of tonight, crew members have been basically asked to stay in their cabins, which can't be pleasant because if you all know, if many of you do know, that the cabin space that crew members have is far smaller than the cabin space a paying passenger would have, and none of them have what we call balcony views. They're all down below, no windows, down below deck. So I don't know how this is going to play out. Will the cruise line immediately assign balcony cabins to all of their crew to get them to a fresh air scenario, but keep them quarantined inside the ship? I can't tell you, and I don't know whether this ship will be allowed into Fort Lauderdale or Miami to even possibly offload any of these crew members for quarantining. Florida is really got some tough decisions to make, and they may have dozens of ships with the same issue popping up in the next week or two, where we just don't know. I'll keep an eye on it. I'll let you know what I know when I know it. And if any of you hear anything in the meantime that you feel I should be aware of, please direct message me on my Facebook group page, Traveling with Bruce, or send me an email at my email address, which is down below this video. You'll find it down there. And I will look into that information as well, and we'll try to stay on top of this as much as we can. All right, everybody, that is the latest breaking news in the cruise world that, to me, could be absolutely a lightning in a bottle here. We may be into some unbelievable news here going forward with this virus. We'll stay on top of it. Thanks for watching me today. Stay warm, stay safe, stay healthy. We'll keep you posted. Bye for now.